Hello, Mooncrafters. This is, I think, the sixth time I am attempting to record this, and it is really just giving me the runaround. Mercury in Pisces, opposite to my natal Mercury in Virgo, is just struggling to get through some of the technical issues that we've been dealing with in this eclipse. I mean, we can just see it totally activated going on right now. So this is the sixth time. I'm going to try it one more time. I think if we don't get this right, I'm just going to put it out there anyways, or maybe just drop it. But I think the last video, so what was happening was there was a lot of technical difficulty. The sound wasn't working, the audio wasn't working, or the video wasn't recording. Then the internet went out, and one thing after another. And then I posted the video, and you can see the first video on my channel. But when I posted it, I thought everything went right, and it didn't. So it wasn't even released in time for the eclipse. I just re-uploaded it again this morning, but then found out that it had cut off halfway through. So here I am. I'm recording the last half of the video for this eclipse. And if you want to see the first part, just head on over to my channel, take a look there, and you can see the first part of this video that I recorded. And it's interesting that it was a mercurial problem that was taking place because it was right at the section where I was starting to talk about Mercury in Pisces that everything got cut off. And Mercury is in Pisces. Mercury is struggling. Pisces is considered the fall of Mercury, and I have Mercury in Virgo, which is considered Mercury's exaltation. So I've got these two energies combating each other. But anyways, Mercury wants clarity. That's one of Mercury's favorite things, is clarity. It wants sharp definitions, clean boundaries. It wants right answers, definition. It wants to analyze, categorize, and explain. The problem is that Pisces doesn't really work like that. Pisces is where boundaries blur, where right and wrong kind of flip around, where things merge, dissolve, and flow together. It's the end of the zodiac. So if you're trying to talk about the future, if you're trying to make plans, if you're trying to communicate with your partner, your friends, your colleagues, it might be hard. It's like making this video over and over again. It's kind of hard. You might feel like you're not getting through. You might feel like you're speaking different languages. So here's my advice, and after I record this video, I'm going to try to take it myself, but stop trying to make Mercury tread water. If you force Mercury to stay sharp and active in Pisces, it's going to exhaust itself. It's going to drown. Instead, let it relax. Let it float on its back. Let it gaze up at the sky. Just be. Don't fight, don't argue, don't try to be right. There's no need for that. Instead, just be present, be soft, be willing not to know. And if you can do that, if you can let Mercury rest, then Venus can do her work, and you can start to feel the future coming towards you. Not as a plan, but as an experience. And again, if any of this is landing for you, or going over and check out the other video, if anything on my channel lands for you, I'd love to hear how you're working with the energy. Just drop a comment below. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. If you like it, like the video. And if you feel like it could benefit somebody else, please share the video. That's how the word spreads about my channel. And I would love to have your support in helping my channel expand and grow. It's really the way that I am finding that I connect with the people that I feel like I'm meant to connect to in this life. And if you're one of those, please do something to help my channel out. So let me take you through the journey of the moon that she's been on to get here. 2 weeks ago, we had the full moon in Leo, and it was a big one. There were 5 planets in Aquarius, all lined up opposite the moon. There were Pluto, Mars, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all just hanging out there. And if you looked at the chart, it looked kind of like a satellite dish, with the planets kind of like curved around and the sun right in the center, beaming all of the energies straight at the moon and then receiving back that lunar reflection and getting dispersed out to those planets on either side. That full moon was about embodiment. Leo loves embodiment. About stepping into who you are. About owning your identity, your expression, your presence in the world. And from that point, the moon began to disseminate her light, to share it, to move through the signs, bringing that light of identity into different areas of life. But here's the thing. From Leo all the way to Aquarius, the moon didn't conjunct a single planet, not bodily, not a single one. She traveled through Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. No bodily conjunctions, only aspects. Only witnessing and being witnessed from across the zodiac. And what does that mean? It means this has been a solo journey, a journey of the moon herself. And you felt it. I'm sure that you have. The last 2 weeks, you can feel the moon is alone when she's alone. And true, she wasn't void of course that whole time, because she did make aspects to planets. She was able to witness and be witnessed. But there is a distinct quality of the moon's manifestations when she travels a sign alone, for sure. In Virgo, she brought that identity into sovereignty, into integrity, and personal responsibility. In Libra, she brought it into balance and into justice, into relationship, harmony. How do we hold truth while we're witnessing others? How do we walk through the grocery store, the gas station? How do we see the person at the cash register, people in the aisle, rich people, poor people, the homeless people, politicians, police officers, teachers? How do we hold all these people, all these different people from different classes, some, depending upon your own class that you belong to, and your own cultural situation could be very different from you. And how do you hold all of that without judgment, either good or bad? That's Libra, right? Then she moved into Scorpio, into what is called the Via Combusta, which is about 1 lunar day before the point of her fall and 1 lunar day after the point of her fall. The point of her fall is in the 3rd degree of Scorpio, opposite the 3rd degree of Taurus. The fall is where she struggles, where she feels hampered, and it is hard for the moon here, but it's also powerful, potent medicine. It is the sting of the scorpion that can penetrate the ego. Our egos are so hard, so impenetrable, that the only thing that can crack them open is the sting of the scorpion. That is the purpose of that scorpionic point where the moon traverses across. It is a moment where we can tap into that point for our spiritual paths, for our evolution as humans on this planet, and work to stop that egoic manifestation. That's the power of the scorpion. From here, the moon moves into Sagittarius, the fire of the forge, the red-hot coals that make metal workable. This is where we take our experiences and turn them into tools, into swords, arrowheads, into weapons against our own inner demons. Then Capricorn, the structure of time itself, the bones of reality, the framework that holds everything together. And finally into Aquarius, where she is now, where the eclipse happened earlier this morning. The solar eclipse, we have a 2-week window into the next lunar eclipse. But after the eclipse, she's going to cross the North Node and meet Venus, enter Pisces, and have the Piscean experience. If you're someone who does do ritual work or sets intentions, prays, pulls cards, lights candles, meditates, or practices in any ways, this is your moment. Here's how I recommend working with it. Today is your setup. We've had the eclipse. This is a good time for you to do your practices, prayers, light candles, light incense. You're preparing the ground throughout the day today. And if you happen to come across this after today, after the eclipse has happened, no problem. First of all, the eclipse window is between now and when the lunar eclipse happens. So this is a very potent time in general. And second of all, we have the ability to take our consciousness and our intention and plant those into specific moments in time. So all you need to do, if you're seeing this after the fact and you want to put your intention into this eclipse, is just summon the eclipse moment up. You can visualize the eclipse happening in your mind. You can look at a chart of that particular time, connect to it somehow, summon it in your mind, and then plant your intention into that moment. And it's amazing how our consciousness is not fettered by the constraints of time and space. So you can try that. If you happen to miss the moment, there's no need to feel like you've missed out on something, you've missed the opportunity. Then later today, we have the dedication moment. This is when the moon moves across the north node. This is where we can plant our intentions. Today is the new moon. Tomorrow is the beginning of the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year is usually marked by the second new moon after the solstice, right? And even the Western New Year comes about 8 days after the solstice, 6 days, I guess, 6 days after the solstice, depending on how you measure it, right? This is because from the moment of the thing happening, we need some time, some space for growth to happen before we start saying that there's newness, right? When the moon connects with the sun, that's the dark moon. The new moon is actually after the dark moon, when you start to see the faintest light of the lunar disk as she then becomes slightly illuminated by the sun. So the new part comes after the reset, after the darkness. And so that's what's happening later today when the moon crosses over the north node. And at that same time, Venus will be there. So it'll be the north node, Venus, and the moon all together simultaneously. A very strong moment of dedication. This is when you can dedicate your body, your work, your wealth, your fortune, your intentions, whatever it is that you're committing to. And if you're a spiritual practitioner, I'm a long-term Buddhist practitioner, but it could be any tradition that you practice of any kind that you do aspiration and dedication practices. Now is a good time to reconnect with any kind of vows that you might have made on your spiritual path. And this is, if you can't be awake at this time, again, just plant your intention into that moment in time, and it will take seed and bear fruit. Actually, if you were to do an eclipse kind of practice, you could actually go back and study each eclipse in the past and plant your intention into the past. And doing so will impact your present. It will change the way that your current circumstances are by going back in time in your life to all the eclipses that have happened for you and planting intention into each one of those times. Then on February 19th, this is the reemergence period. This is when the moon comes into the triple conjunction with Saturn and Neptune in the first degree of Aries. Aries is the emergence, the initiation, it's taking action. It is the world point. It is the most initiatory degree in the zodiac because this is where the sun is in equinox, both in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. But in the northern hemisphere, it's when the light then starts to grow past its equilibrium point. The moon will be at 41 minutes in Aries in the first degree. Saturn will be at 39 degrees just prior to it. And then Neptune will be at 43 minutes of arc. Now, the interesting thing is the lunar disk of the moon is about 30 arc minutes across. And so in actuality, the moon will be swallowing both Saturn and Neptune in this experience. It's like a Cazimi, but instead of the sun, it's the planets are with the moon. And I think it probably falls into the category of a syzygy. not sure. I'd have to look that up. I just kind of remembering that off the top of my head. But the moon will be directly between them and encompassing both of them. And this is kind of like a menage a trois, a three-way union. And it is actually one of the moon's most favored aspects because the moon loves two-ness. The moon represents two. And so when she's able to engage with two planets simultaneously, this is really a favored condition for the moon. You could say the moon loves a menage a trois. This is where what you planted begins to reemerge. This is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. Then later on February 26th, the moon conjoins Jupiter in Gemini. This is an interesting configuration that's taking place because this represents the 120-degree aspect between the moon and the sun. The 120-degree aspect is known as the trine or triangle. And this is the aspect that is governed by Jupiter and is of the nature of Jupiter. So the moon will be being activated and receiving the Jupiterian aspectual energy from the sun right before she connects with the actual planet Jupiter in that same sign. So Jupiter will be part of this triangular configuration with the sun as well. Jupiter represents the teacher. Jupiter is the archetype of the teacher. And in Vedic traditions, Hindu, Buddhists, in Tibetan Buddhism, actually, we call this day the Guru Day. This is when we do Guru practices, the masculine practices, or the teacher practices for the different cycles. That's maybe getting ahead of myself. But here's the thing. The moon is conjoining Jupiter, the planet of the teacher, the planet of the guru. This is a powerful moment for teaching, for learning, for embodying compassion. Not just teaching through words, but teaching through presence, through example, through the way you move in the world. So on this day, ask yourself, what am I teaching? Maybe not verbally. It can be through an embodiment. It can be through presence. It can be through, any kind of energetic exchange. What are you teaching? How am I showing up for the people around me, my children, my partners, my friends, my community? Again, if you want to go deeper into any of this, have a personal consultation, head on over to my website, www.ryan-hunt.com. Up in the top menu bar, there's a link to services. Click on that and you'll see the different readings that I offer, different downloads and things that I have available. Take a look over there. Now, let me bring all of this home. This is to kind of wrap up not just this video, but the earlier video that I put out earlier. We're living in a time, a moment that feels heavy. The world is loud. The news is relentless. And it's easy to get pulled into the past, into blame, into justification. It's easy to get stuck in the present, in fear and overwhelm, and it is easy to get lost in the future, in anxiety and dread. But this eclipse, this one today, as well as the cycle of eclipse that we're in, I track the eclipses, a window of time between the solar and the lunar eclipses. This period of time, it's asking us to do something different. It's asking you to center, to hold the past, the present, and the future all at once, to feel the pressure of time without resisting it, and to let it shape you, to refine you, and to bring you into focus. Here's the truth. Not the absolute truth, but just, like a common truth in all of this. Your body, your work, your relationships, your home, your possessions, all of it is temporary. I know it's a kind of cliche thing to say, but you didn't bring any of it with you when you came here, and you're not taking it with you when you leave. And it's just the truth about it. We easily forget it as we go about our daily life, but it's something that when we step back in these moments of eclipse, new moons, full moons, and we're doing a little bit of reflection, it's important to remember that the things that we engage in are lunar, tangible, material things. These are important for us, for enabling us in this life. They are a tool and vehicles for our spirit and our soul, but we can't take them with us. They are temporarily on loan to us. But our consciousness, Consciousness endures, not because it's ours, not because I have some minus that is part of that consciousness, but simply because consciousness itself is indestructible. And that stretches across time. That has continuity. And the way that you tend to your consciousness through compassion, through intention, through the way you show up in this moment, that matters. So as you move through this eclipse, as you work with Venus and Mercury in Pisces, as you prepare for the triple conjunction in Aries and the teacher Guru Day conjunction with Jupiter, remember this. You're not just moving through time. Time is moving through you too. And you get to choose what you're planting. You get to choose what you're diving toward. Thinking back to the analogy of the bird, the eagle, or the hawk flying above the field and seeing the mouse or seeing the salmon, seeing the target. What is your target? What do you see with your vision? This is the Aquarian, aspect that we're talking about. So remember, choose compassion, choose intention, and trust that your body knows the way. Until next time, keep your eye on the sky and make a wish upon a star.